This book was published in 1859 and is 16th novel of the author. With well over 200 million copies sold, it ranks amongst the most famous works in the history of literary fiction. The 45-chapter novel was published in 31 weekly installments in Dickens' literary periodical titled All the Year Round. The novel depicts the plight of the French peasantry, demoralized by the French aristocracy in the years leading up to the Revolution, and many unflattering social parallels with life in London during the same time period. It is a classical example of author's popular appeal, just over 400 pages long and supported by a large number of miscellaneous characters like Devigel, paper lawyer, and a banker with a heart of gold. It has the emotional appeal of a John Irving novel, plot twist, enough violence, suspense, and good humor to satisfy all sort of readers.
It is a tale of chaos, espionage, and adventure set in London and Paris and during the French Revolution. The backdrop of social unrest serves as catalyst for the drama and unfolds in the lives of its main characters. The noble and mysterious Charles Darnay, the ignoble yet unpredictable Sidney Carden, and the Lucy man, the woman they love, ties every character together. The love relationship of two main characters, Lucy Manet and Charles Darnay, passed through the time narrated by Dickens as it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. The couple made their way through strange circumstances. They were caught in a storm of revolutionary atmosphere of late 18th century France. They would have hardly passed through it without offering abnormal responses to the situation they were forced to face. The story is painted on a torn canvas of turbulent London, where mockery of law had replaced administration of justice. The guns were necessary articles for travelers, and the fresh graves were excavated for selling parts of dead bodies. Warehouse of France in general, and the theatre of Paris in particular, were worse than the London. The last phase of feudalism had haunted conscience of French peasants had outturned all the notions of civility and human etiquettes. The peasant movement for ousting the tyrant rulers particularly ended on the fall of the prison of Bastille.
Dickens' characterization of man and woman of A Tale of Two Cities is near to reality. Some of them act a little bit dramatically, as and when the plot of novel so demands. Jarvis Lorry, an uncomplicated banker, and Madame Defarge, a die-hard revolutionary, never depart from the strict necessities attached with their professions. Charles Dickens was a technician who used symbols as effective implementation for helping a large picture of his novel to be understood deeply. Unlike the well-sculptured use of powerful symbols in his other novel, in A Tale of Two Cities he depends upon sharp adjectives and silent humor. While representing the host of characters, he displayed his masterly art of telling about the aspects of contemporary society. In the same manner, he narrates the pros and cons of outgoing revolution. The vivid description of all the characters is such that if by chance any one of them passes by us in real life, we would immediately notice. Dickens read the life before his eyes and used for his creation, hoping that the readers would love the same and honor the same.
Dickens had courage to be an innovator. Standing against all the contemporary writers, he had chosen the subject like poverty. He obeyed his inner voice, his sincere service to the world in which he lived. Again, even if being the writer of a neat fiction, he chose history as a background for A Tale of Two Cities. He preferred to narrate rigid truth of the history without reservation, without making any compromises, and then the result is before our eyes. He chose theme of history because it contained the hardest challenges the people had faced, because he chose it because the larger portion of people had finally responded to the wildest behavior shown to them throughout the years. Every drop of blood fallen on the street of Paris, every drop of sweat fallen on the farms of feudal France had mixed together and formed the blade of guillotine. Dickens picked up that theme, honored it with his masterly skills. The history tells us how people wanted freedom and how they got them materialized. The parallel story of Lucy and Charles Darnay's love runs on the same rail of hope and despair.
While reading Dickens, humor would not fail in helping your strains disappear, making your mind lighter. Had Dickens not been the humorist as he was, he would have been known as a reformist, thanks to the subject he chose for his writings. A Tale of Two Cities, running overloaded with revolution, contains salient stocks of wits and irony. If you look at the novel from a different angle, then the War Revolution is the greatest satire in itself. The mankind has never learned a lesson from the past. We go on slaughtering each other without realizing the futility of our actions. Perhaps that was the biggest message this novel should have delivered. In this novel, Dickens had distributed the humor among various packets, but he had not tried to soften the bitterness of the truth that the ongoing revolution was supposed to hold. Good narration and realistic storyline makes this novel a masterpiece. It would shine like a gem on anyone's bookshelf, and it can also be a good reread.